Life Empowerment Network, hour of the assignment as the clock strikes the designated hour of the assignment. A sense of anticipation fills the air. This hour is not just any hour, it is a time dedicated to growth, learning, and personal development. It is a moment where individuals come together to challenge themselves, push their boundaries, and strive for excellence. In this hour, we embrace the opportunity to expand our knowledge, sharpen our skills, and unlock our full potential. It is a sacred time when we set aside distractions and focus wholeheartedly on the task at hand. Each minute is precious, each moment is valuable, and each challenge is an opportunity for growth.
As we embark on this hour of the assignment, let us approach it with determination, enthusiasm, and a willingness to learn. Let us support one another, inspire each other, and celebrate our progress together. For within this hour lies the power to transform, to elevate, and to empower ourselves to reach new heights. So, as we step into the hour of the assignment, let us do so with a sense of purpose, a spirit of perseverance, and a commitment to excellence. Together, we can conquer any challenge, achieve any goal, and create a brighter, more empowered future for ourselves and those around us. Welcome.
Social media friends, join me welcome Mrs. Joan Curran Darkerty, the co-founder of the Economic Development Initiatives LEDI.
Welcome, wherever you are. Welcome again. Well, thank you for giving us that quick intro. Welcoming our guests. Again, those of us who are watching or will be watching, we are here again, the hour of the assignment, and we have been talking about different issues, probably especially for this hour is time to talk to positive people. And I think we've been listening to different people with profile. Last week we were one of the great person was here in the midst, and today we can say that we have one great woman, a lady who very innovative, and we want to say again that those of us who are watching and will be watching, you are most welcome. This is the time that we promote each other, empower ourselves with the word, and this is about talking to people who want to make change in the society or who are making change in the society with passion. And today we are not, actually there's no mistake. We have in our midst she's joined Darkerty, who is the co-founder of the Liberia Economic Development Initiative, and I'm very pleased, to have her in our midst because I've been following her. I've been trying to get to her, and probably everybody basic, and we're here to promote each other. It is because of the track, not only the track record, or some of the things that she and her family, her husband to be precise, are doing. I think it also make some change and bring a big change in our community. So I want to thank God for you, my dear sister, and you're welcome. Or just introduce yourself. Let me just give you the floor, introduce yourself, and let's go into our meeting today. Welcome. You're welcome. It seems to be you are.
Yes, thank you so much for such a warm welcome, Reverend Bestman.
Okay.
It's an honor to be on the Life Empowerment Network, the hour of the assignment. I think it's such a beautiful and opportune title. And I'm glad to be a part of your audience today, or featured on your show. And the audience, thank you so much for joining and for being a part of this show. My name is Joanne Curran Darkerty. As Reverend Bestman has stated, I am the co-founder of Liberia Economic Development Initiative, and LEDI is in its 17th year this year. Our mission has always been to empower others. And we believe one of the most powerful tools of empowerment, whether social, spiritual, um, relational, you name it, is education, is knowledge. Because this is a Christian show and I'm a Christian, I can say, the word of God said, where our people lack knowledge, they perish. And we know that to be true, both as Christians and just as observers in the world. And so we have been working for years to empower the people of Liberia with the tools, education primarily through scholarships. We've done missions, medical missions, humanitarian missions. We provide a lot of life-changing hope. And one of our flagship projects is to give the gift of literacy, is how we call it. And in giving the gift of literacy, we are building a library and technology center. So I'll share more about that, I think, as the interview goes on. But I'm a daughter, I'm a wife, I'm a mother of two handsome boys, and very glad to be here. As Reverend Bestman also stated, my husband and I did co-found Letty, and a lot of times people say, oh, husband and wife team. Well, we've been married for about 14, 15 years, and I said Letty is 17 years old. So this work started even before we were married, when we were just friends, and had a passion for economic development and empowering others. So that was the nemesis in the beginning. The nexus, not the nemesis, the nexus in the beginning of this work that started.
Wow. Wonderful to hear that. Sometimes people will say, well, how can it happen? Why you got a co-shipping but then one partner bought the idea or whatever, decision that were made, being passionate about what, you had in your mind. And I want to also thank you for, those of us who are listening, we were listening, two things happens for partnership, and we're talking about people who are mutually marrying, and when it comes to understanding, this is a vision that are going to impact many lives. Now, the Life Empowerment Network believe in empowering people, like you said. And once, we see that, what you said before 15, 14 years or 50 years, looking at the difference of 2 years before and getting into marriage, I think that was a great thing. And anybody can say, well, it might be some power, and God is in this vision. And I want to thank you again. And those of us who are listening, we have a lot of things to talk about. But let first of all ask you, what inspired you? What inspired you to start this vision as a co-founder of Lady?
Yeah, so that's a great question. Thank you for asking. I've always been a servant leader, always been very, very involved, starting with the church in my formative years, and from there branching out into many, many organizations. I served on my first board before I graduated from high school. I was on the American Red Cross board. I've worked with so many international organizations, whether it was the Diaspora Liberian Truth and Reconciliation Commission, or IRC, the International Rescue Committee. I volunteered with the Carter Center. I mean, you just name it. It was my passion to serve others and to uplift others. However, I met my husband. I was working on the board, serving on a board of an organization called American Friends Service Committee in the early 2000s. This was maybe around 2001, 2002, and I served until maybe around 2005. And we were petitioning for debt cancellation at that time for severely impoverished African nations, Liberia being one of them, that owed millions of dollars to the IMF, World Bank, that amounted to generational poverty. And that campaign ended up being successful. But one of the times when I went out to speak, I ended up being at a convention. One of my mentors at the time suggested I go to a convention in New Jersey where there were a lot of Liberian leaders there at the time. And my husband ended up being one of the people in the audience at this convention in New Jersey. I left from Atlanta to attend the convention, and he left from Ohio to attend the convention. And so after I gave my presentation and told him and the audience that we were petitioning, we were collecting petitions from people all around the world to help alleviate the enormous debt that many nations were in, he came to me afterwards and said, you know, I have an economics background. I'm very passionate about debt reduction as well. How can I get involved? And that was where our friendship began. He asked for my contact information. Yes, and that was the very, very beginning. You fast forward, we would spend hours and hours on the phone between Atlanta and Ohio, trying to figure out how to help our people, but from two very different angles. Okay. I was born in Liberia, but I lived in the United States all my life. And I saw, you know, great suffering in Liberia that broke my heart. And both of my parents are firstborn. So when the war happened in Liberia, they were responsible for helping all of their family members, and they served as Moseses for many of their family members, bringing family members to the States, helping them, delivering food during the war zone, in the war zone and so forth. And we were glued to our TVs when CNN and other shows would come on, and those were teenage years. I would see these images, and it made me desperate in my spirit to say, if I can help the world as I'm doing, if I can serve all these communities, surely I can help to serve the nation that I'm from. And I knew I wanted to do something, and I didn't know exactly how. My husband, on the contrary, he lived through the entire Civil War. He came to the United States as an adult, unlike me, who came as a child and lived in my entire life in the United States. So his father was murdered and two siblings were murdered during the war. He, went through everything, the beginning, from Genesis to Revelation, he went through. And he also believed in the power of education because he was able to escape poverty, abject poverty through education. And he also saw what ignorance could do and how much damage ignorance could cause in a society where there were youth without hope. And nothing to lose. So we put our two minds together. He had an economics background. I have a political science background. And we founded Liberia Economic Development. We started doing the work right away. But we got our 501c3 tax exempt status in 2007. And here we are 17 years later.
Wow. It's story is so touching, and especially from the beginning, how you guys met, and God just trickled it together, and it was just like the kind of connection. And sometimes people don't understand why these different connections can come about. But I want to thank God again for you, because not many Liberians, not many Africans will have to, even if you grew up here. You forget about, maybe the people back home, and the passion that you have to say, well, I need to do this. I see that there's a need, and the different experience from different places you work, and then God just brought you guys together. And I saw I'm trying to look it up, because I put it there. I wanted to show it, but I really saw the kind of great giant thing you did there, you guys doing back in Liberia. And those of us who are watching will keep promoting and talking about this as time go by. But she said something that we all need to look at. Not many of us that probably sometime says Joe, and I think I said, but how many Liberians understand where they came from? Because like you said, you look back and say, no, since I'm in this position and I have this knowledge, I work, but with the research I'm having and some of the things that I'm getting involved, I think I got to think about Liberia, because Liberia is in this category, in poverty line, and why it is true that we're not supposed to be there, but we are there. And so I want to thank you for actually, this is something that, people would say is a divine. We're not understanding about the divine, because, when a person is living, give them the flower. because
Mm.
you're going to be taking in Kakata or Bangladesh, wherever that school that library is, you're going to be making a great impact. And you have
Yes.
already, because of the change that you have made and
Yes.
brought there will be empowerment of people. And I like empowerment. The reason why those of us who are listening who can follow me in most of the thing, the reason why I like empowerment, from the spiritual aspect to the economic aspect to everything, there is something about empowerment. If the person don't understand the world, ignorance, it damages a lot of people. It destroys a lot of people. And if you can empower the person with the word, then empower them with books to read. If you can empower them with books to read, give them some money to do something to empower themselves. And empowerment means different things. It means a lot. And so, I'm really cheered about the vision, and I can't wait to see. I really want to be. I was telling somebody, I want to be in Liberia tomorrow morning. So, I want to thank you again. But I wanted to think. I want to know what does success actually look like in the organization for Lady right now? How does success look like?
In my personal life, success means living according to Yahweh's calling on my life, authority. That's what it means in my personal life. Because I'm a follower of Christ, I want to do what He put me on this earth to do. And so success means I'm taking steps towards the destiny that He's called me to. But then in our organization, success means results, that we are not just spinning wheels, but we are actually impacting lives. And we brand ourselves as an organization around our library and technology center construction because it's monumental. We see it as a Noah's Ark type moment where God called us to do something that's bigger than any of our individual ability. And the beautiful thing about that is when it's done, we will all know that God did it because no individual could do it on their own, and He gets the glory. But when we look at, success overall, there's so many successes that Letty has achieved over our 17 years. We have awarded hundreds of scholarships to children ranging from elementary age to college through the graduating people from the University of Liberia. Right now, in fact, we have supported in partnership with the Curran family, a scholarship fund that we did it in partnership with Letty, and it's helping midwifery students in Zosa to graduate, to go into rural community and clinics to help impoverished women give birth in dignity. That's something I'm extremely proud of because so many mothers die during the process, and it's unnecessary. The technology, the skills exist. We just need to empower our people to do that. We've raised thousands of dollars during the Ebola epidemic. We gave money for treatment and for the payment of medical staff during the Ebola epidemic. We partnered with Cleveland State University and sent and many other partners, and sent thousands of dollars in medical supplies. During COVID, we fed people in jails, in maternity clinics. You know how COVID shut things down. We provided face masks to communities, rice, food, and I could go on and on and on. So it's not just the library, which is our flagship project, is the ongoing results that we've had, whether it's in the area of infrastructure development, whether it's in youth development, whether it's through business training and development that we've provided to former rock crushers. There were women who used to crush rocks.
Yeah.
And we met with them. We said, how much does it take to get you to stop crushing rocks? $250, $500 US. So we trained them, and we provided business development training. We provided the seed capital so that they could buy the sewing machine that you could never buy living off of $1 or $2 a day. They could buy the cooking set to start cooking or baking. They could provide for themselves. And we have so much more that we are doing and want to do with the help of our global community and of friends and partners. But how we measure success is through the impact that we have. And by God's grace, we've had a tremendous impact. And we can't imagine what we could do if we had even more resources. We do so much with what we have that I know that as God continues to increase our resources, we'll be able to have even mightier impact.
Wow. The 17 years I've not been wasted. Is when you talk about the rock culture and all these different group of people, the scholarship, especially for the medical aspect of training, nicely to, it's you have made, actually for the years, you have said it, and even the scholarship forms. And those of us who are listening, we are talking to the code founder of the of Linden, and the Liberia actually economic development initiative. I have a very long history as I listen to you, and not just a long history, but an impactful history. Because most of our organization have been formed for years, and probably the opportunity maybe some of them had, they could not share back in their own country. And so that is an indication that before you even came to the place of building or constructing, and what was constructed in Liberia, you have been making impact in our country. So I want to also thank you for that. And those of us who are listening, we want you to know that in order to empower, we don't have to have everything. In order to empower, we need to have the passion, because there are many people in need of there. And the organization that she's talking about, Lindy, I really not just being proud of just listening to you. I will be very frank, I didn't go deeply into some of the things that you guys have been doing, but with a little, the one you just said, it's full of my heart. And I always tell people the only thing we can do here on earth is to do what God have called us to do. I don't know. This is why this show is called Out of the Assignment.
Yes.
Maybe you think that those of us who are listening, who are following us, will think, well, okay, she's not a pastor, or the person not a. No, this show is not just about pastor. No, it's about every individual has an assignment. So I want you to just tell me. We talk about part of what actually the impact you are making, but just tell me how you feel about what is going on between, especially with you and your spouse, your husband, putting your time into this thing. How you feel about it with the impact you guys have?
Yeah. So you said something that I don't know if I completely agree with, or if I even disagree. You talked about ministry and pastoring. You didn't say ministry, you said pastoring, and everyone doesn't have to be a pastor on the show. As a believer, I think we all have a ministry. Yes. We are all priests, and Jesus made that clear to us.
Exactly.
And we all have our own assignment. And so therefore, part of my ministry, if I want to call it that, is to go out according to I think it's either Isaiah 54 or 60.
It's in the fivefold ministry.
Yes, it's for us to go out into the world, and not only to evangelize through our lives, the goodness of God, be that light. That's that light shining on a hill that cannot be hidden. But I think also we must deploy the gifts, right? If you don't use the gifts, you lose them. We all know the parable of the talents. And it's our duty to use them. And frankly, what we're doing, we're not even able to use all of our talents. And so many times I find myself praying, oh God, please help me. I mean, I wish I could do even more. I truly feel that way sometimes, but we balance life, motherhood, and so forth. How I feel about what we're doing with my husband and myself, I think it's a tremendous blessing. It's more blessed to give than to receive. We give so much out of our personal resources, and it's a pleasure because we have never lost anything from giving. Nothing. In fact, we've been so blessed when we look back over the years of how God has continued to increase us. Many of the things that we gave away for free, God has given back to us 100-fold. And when I say that, I mean, for example, my husband, he worked in the United States for many international organizations, for many big organizations, for banks, for different institutions. While working for Letty, I used to work for the Central Bank of the United States for over 15 years for the Federal Reserve System. And I also did Letty simultaneously. And this was like 2 full-time jobs, pretty much, but we were consistent. And the Lord has elevated us because of our sincerity, because of our consistency, because of what we've done. So we've never lost a thing by giving. And then I also want to thank the partners of Letty who affirm us. You know, when you have a vision and you have a dream, if it's just in your heart, it can be very testing. It can be very trying. It can be you and God. But when people say, oh, you know what, I will sow a seed into this, it feels like confirmation from heaven. It feels like something different because it's like not only do you see the vision and are you clear, but other people can see it as well. Yeah. So all those who have sown into us, I often say it, and I say it prophetically, and it comes to pass. It has never failed me yet. There's not a single person who has sown in our organization who has not been blessed. It's a fact. And I'm not saying that lightly, and it's not something that I just speak casually. I'll give you a testimony. There's so many. There's a young lady, a former college classmate of mine. She was not working at the time of our last fundraiser that we had in Atlanta. It was spectacular, as they always are. And I'll share a little bit about our next coming fundraiser. But I asked her to sing, and she could charge. She's a professional singer. She sings at her church. She's a choir director and so forth. And she said, I will give this as a gift. And I said, you know, you touch my heart, because sometimes when people come, they just say, okay, how much can you pay me? What is this and that? I said, but for you to donate this, let's pray. I said, I pray that God pours everything back into you and more for you giving of your service, of your talent for this work, because you think you're singing, but really you're helping. The money that's raised, the proceeds, it's changing lives. So it's not just singing. It's not just an event. This is something that actually produces results, that actually turns into something tangible in someone's life that may change or alter a community, if not a generation. So fast forward, she just did a social media post where she just got to be a director of a huge church, music director. And I went back to her and I said, it hasn't even been a year. It was in October. We prayed that prayer, or maybe a few weeks before the event. And look at this. And she said, thank you for praying for me. I said, I knew God was going to do it, because it's too many stories. I could tell you too many stories. So it's not strange, because I've been seeing this happen over and over. So, and it's also a prayer of mine, a sincere prayer. I said, Lord, whoever sows into your work, into this work, let them be blessed. Let them see it and know that it was you and this was your project. And so it's very rewarding, not only for us, because we have never lost anything, but it's also rewarding to see people around us be blessed also when they sow into this work that God has called us to do.
Oh my God. It's so, you know, it's like, I don't want the time. Time is coming. I still want to listen to some of the things. And I something that I did not ask, and probably maybe you talk about a little bit. I see you with your kids, and how are you coping with, you know, and sometimes, and I see the guys on the feed, you know, especially in Liberia when they started the project, and I see the ladies. How do you cope with, you know, managing, traveling with the guys, especially from America here, where children, you know, how do you really manage with the kind of thing you do?
So there is no managing. There is no managing. And the reason why I say that is because from the moment I had my children, I prayed to God that they would never be a burden to me, and that they are only gifts to my life. So there is no managing. It's a joy. It's a blessing. It's an opportunity. It's a joy. I can't imagine leaving them to do anything that I'm doing or putting my hands to. So that's not even an option in my world. The other thing is my firstborn is my gift. My secondborn is my vindication. So they are my prayer warriors. Believe it or not, we went to Liberia, and my husband went in front to go prepare the land, prepare the people, start
Yeah.
ordering cement, steel rods, material. All those things take a lot of time. And then we came and joined him. One, because the children are in school. Two, because he has to mobilize all the workers, and all those things. So once we come, when me and the children arrive, we spend a lot of time in prayer. So we are back behind the scenes. And when we hit the ground, speaking in faith. We consecrate the ground. They're not too young to be ministers. They have their holy oil. They consecrate the ground. We pray. And when people see that faith and when people see God moving, they join in. What God did this time around when we went to construct, we've been constructing for a while. COVID happened and interrupted us for the last almost 4 years. When we had a lot of momentum, and then we all know what happened with COVID.
Yeah.
The last time we had constructed previously was December 2019. So all of 2020 up to 2023, we did not get to build. So the long story short, when we came, we were like, okay, God, we want to see demonstrations.
Yeah.
We know because we know faith without works is dead, but we also know that what moves people is the miraculous too. Like we came here to see demonstration. We want to see, the 5 loaves and the 2 fish, God. And we prayed that prayer before we left to come to Liberia, and we prayed it while we were on the ground, and God demonstrated. And one testimony, I have many, but one that I can share is this time we were on the ground, as we were praying, as we were speaking in faith, as we were professing the word of God, as we were believing him for miracles and for multiplication. The people finally, like in the book of Nehemiah, I think it's the book of Nehemiah, they had the mind to work. They had the mind to work to the point where before, when we would come to Liberia, it would be like, what can I get?
Yes.
Not like we are helping them. And some people would even act like it was my library. I said, do you know me and my children don't live here? We don't stay here. This is not for us. This is for the generation. This is your library. So this is not for me. So I want you to understand that, because they would act like it's for us, or like we're building some mansion, or they didn't get the vision. But this time around, it finally clicked. Like, wow, this is for us. And you could see that they knew they were working, like they were working for their children's future. And to the point where they were telling us, go buy those Chinese lamps. We want to work through the night. And we were like, no. Like, we can stop. We ended up buying the Chinese lamp lights, like what they call the bright strobe lights that work in the night. That's how they call it. Because they wanted to work and they wanted to keep the progress going. And we just go in, and I said, Lord, please multiply the resources. And we kept on praying that prayer that they will, the resources will flow. Let the money not stop, because the people have the mind to work. And one of my prayers to God is let the resources continue, like the woman pouring the oil. Let it continue until the work is finished. And so that's something that we're looking forward to God answering. But I just saw that. So when you talk about my children are part of the visionary purpose and plan. They are praying along with us. They are working. They are shoveling. They are inspiring other children. They are reading to other children. And I don't want to highlight only my children, because there's a lot of people in the community that are part of us. Many times people say, you and your husband. No, Letty is an international nonprofit. We have country manager. We have so many other people. So we've developed, we have volunteers from all around the United States and all around the world. So we have developed, we have grown. But what I'm saying to you is they are not a burden. They are not in any way anything to manage. They are nothing but a blessing to the process, and they speak life and pray into this project. Yes.
Wow. I asked this question because, like, many kids, sometimes, especially people who live in America, they have to leave their kids somewhere, travel, or
not me.
Yeah. And there are a lot of challenges, but thank God, at least they are coping with it and they know their vision. And you see, because you said something, they got to know that we're building for them. Because everything that I see in empowerment is not it for generation, especially what you guys doing, it for the next generation. And you know, those of us who are listening today, the thing about lending, what I learned from you today and what I've been reading about is that you're talking about library, and you're talking about something that it's like perpetual. It's something that other will come and see it, other will come and learn, other will come and you will leave this earth, but it's going to be a legacy. I always tell people, I say your empowerment should not only be something that will leave. Sometimes you give people bread, right? Or rice. And people like to eat, they like people giving them rice. But after they eat, I tell you the truth, maybe you come by the next time, they stay warm. You might be thinking that you are giving them something, but when you give them, you put something down tangible. We're talking about empowerment. That which you are doing is for the next generation and generation to come. And the one that you have done by even putting your money to education, scholarship, people who learned, who graduate, they too will be impacting others. You know, when Christ trained the 12 disciples and he said, go out to nations in Matthew chapter 28, he said, make disciples. He said, teach them to observe. So in other words, when we have the passion to train people, that means what you have done is not only giving scholarship to someone, but it's preparing them to prepare others. So that is all about empowerment. And we're not just looking at short term. Your long term goal, I just wanted to put that in. And, you know, what would you think a long term goal would be like in your own projection?
Yeah, so I mean, for example, one of the things I hope to continue to do is to serve in any capacity God has called me to. Most people, it's funny, I don't know if this is good or bad, but think that I'm a lot more intentional about certain things that I am. And sometimes I am, or certain plans that I have, because I set annual goals. I believe in that. Our whole family sets goals, what we want to achieve. The reason why I'm answering this way is to say, I don't know what God has in terms of my future. I want to be available to him. I set goals, usually 1 year, 2 years out max. Sometimes I do 5-year goals, but most of the time is 1 to 2 years. But what I'm doing now with Letty, what I'm doing now, I serve on the board of an international school. I'm the president of the board of trustees of the American International School of Abidjan. A year ago, I did not know I was going to be doing. I was asked. People elected me in that position, and now I'm doing that, and many other things to serve. So many times things come, and you just pray, and if it feels right, you do it. But many times people will joke and say, oh, you should do this, or you should run for this office, or you should try this. You know, for me, I just want to do what God wants me to do. And I say that sincerely. I have ambitions of really, really being strong in business and formulating more business, because one of the things that's been very impactful to my life is seeing how powerful, how empowering business is to the community. You know, when Letty first started, you know, we would raise money, and we still raise money because that's how, you know, it helps us to impact more people. And let's say, you know, through our fundraising, we're able to send 50 children to school. And then you have a businessman who, you know, makes millions of dollars, and then, or a woman who makes millions of dollars. And she's able to, in theory, whether she wants to or not, send thousands of people to school. So I'm seeing how powerful a medium business is. And I know that I can do more if I have more. And so I really want to learn and focus on that aspect as well, so that I can impact more lives, because business is a powerful tool for impacting lives if you so choose.
Yeah, I think I'd ask that question in terms of not only looking at, because I don't really look at political race. I look at the fact that God have called you because for what you have done, what you guys have started. And sometimes people think, oh, this person is doing it for maybe in the future they want, and that's a right answer that I just got from you. Really, those of us who are in the media, we give these questions because many times, and I tell people, I say, for me, you can even do anything as an advocate and as a consultant. I don't want to be anything in government. I can do anything. Why? Because, Joanne, I want to do the work for the people. I'm a public servant, and I want to be balanced. I was just talking to a guy. I made a remark. I mean, a kind of chat on he promotes, when you promote people, you only talk about government, but you don't talk about the issues that affect people's lives. You are an advocate for the people, and like what we're saying, you're thinking about constructive thing. You want to be balanced in what you're doing. So your thing is you want to get into business. That is one of the biggest things you can ever do, and to keep in line with what God has called you to do. And I want to thank you for that, because I bring that question up. Many times in Africa, even here, people want to go into politics, but they want to start from giving people, and then at the end of the day, you go into them, back to them, and say, "Look, I've been giving you for 5 years. I want you to now put me." And that, for those of us who are listening, this is something that I think is not right. Okay, if the people want you, to carry you, and just do what God has called you to do. And I want to thank you for that, for the passion, and I want to thank you for that particular question that you answered for me, because many will be thinking, and sometimes people push me. I was in Liberia. I started this thing with the Bassa community. There's something people have been infringed, that right were infringed upon. And when I started, they said nobody started it. So it looked like, my man, you can be the next representative for District 8. I said, no, I'm doing this as a person. I'm not even thinking about that. Okay, so that is why sometimes we ask this question, and I want to thank you for answering me the way you answer me. And I think you have a very good plan, and you are on course with the vision, and your passion is to do what you are called to do. And I just want us to go for break, and then we'll be back to ask you 2 questions the next time, so that we can be clapping here today. I'm gonna clap for 2 minutes. Let me see which one I want to play. I just want to play. Okay, back again. I want to thank you, and thank you again. Welcome. We are going to the close of our time here, and I want to come up to another 2. We have 2 more questions here. I think so far. What upcoming events? Because every time we have probably something coming up, so that we can start promoting it for you. Besides your own thing you do, we want to start promoting it. So what coming event that is coming up in your organization?
Okay, well, thank you for asking. There are 2 main celebrations that we have. The first is a campaign that we're kicking off this month. It's Cheers to 17 Years, where we will be celebrating Letty's 17th birthday throughout this year. And it's a birthday celebration to get people involved throughout the world to say, congratulations, Letty, on 17 years of service, of impact. I'll share that banner with you after the show. It's something that just shares, the impact that we've had, and we're asking people who understand the mission, understand the vision, to be a part of sharing what we've done, and the work that we're continuing to do, and making a donation, a one-time or a monthly donation of $17. That's something that many people can afford to do.
Yeah.
And some people can afford to do more. You can do 170, 1,700, but just $17.
Yes.
We're asking people to just invest in this work in the United States. It's a tax-deductible donation to Letty, because we are a 501c3 tax-exempt nonprofit. And then our big annual gala, it's called the Letty International Life Changers Awards. It's an awards gala. It's a big celebration where we honor men and women who are empowering people at the highest level in their communities and in the world.
Wow.
And it's a spectacular event. It's going to be in Atlanta, Georgia.
Oh, okay.
Yes, at the Westin Atlanta Airport. Last year, we honored some phenomenal honorees. Ambassador Andrew Young was one of our honorees. We also honored Eric Robbins. He's the CEO of the Jewish Federation. We honored Mary Parker from the Mary Parker Foundation, Nancy Flake Johnson from the Urban League, and Terry Badour. She's the CEO of the American Red Cross of Georgia. And so those are our honorees, but they range from year to year. We're actually doing a call for nomination now where people can nominate honorees through the end of May. But this celebration is our big event. It's going to be on October the 26th. We invite you to purchase your tickets.
Is it October?
Sponsored the 26th.
Oh,
Saturday, October 26th.
It's a good time.
At 6 p.m. at Atlanta. In Atlanta, Georgia, you can send donations. We have a website, event website, which is www.lettyfundraiser.org, Letty, L-E-D-I, fundraiser.org. And if you visit that page, we continue to develop it over time. So you can buy a ticket. You can sponsor. Tickets are $150. It's a world-class, classy event. You will eat well. You will be inspired. You will have a celebration, a cultural celebration.
Wow.
You will network with people, shake hands with people that you've seen on TV. It's just a wonderful event.
Oh my God!
And it's all for a great cause, which is to give the gift of literacy to Liberia.
Wow! Wow! Why? I already came across. I saw the event, and that is a very interesting question. And I want to say, I don't want to say it here, but I know I'm going to be around, and I'm going to be there in Georgia. I'm going to be looking at the ticket. I'm going to be looking at the cost and everything. Now fixing.
Be so happy to have you. Yes.
Yeah.
And we, the Westin Hotel has given us special rates. We'll be adding that link to the website soon. So, if you're not staying with family, it would be great to stay at the hotel because it makes everything easy. It's very connected to the airport. There's shuttles that run every 5 minutes to and from the airport. So you don't even need to rent a car. Very, very convenient location, the Westin Atlanta Airport Grand Ballroom.
Wow. So, those of us who are listening, it's a good time event. And I would like you to share some of the things that you have done, and I'm talking about some of the pictures, some of the things. So when I'm doing my promoting, and then the page of where you do the maybe the linking, and I'm going to be talking more about it. Okay. So that is something that the Life Empowerment Network with the community engagement believe in promoting each other, and I think this is a boost for Liberia, and we think we can all pop into it, call people, talk to people, and just keep talking about it. Not just on this show, but it's good that you appear on the show, and then that is how the collaboration is all about, promoting people and trying to buttress the effort of especially people who are serious about other people's life. So I want to thank you, and those of us who are listening. Again, we are talking to the co-chair or founder of the LENDI. The LENDI is the Liberia Economic Development Initiative. There here is a 501c3, and she's talking about the event coming up in Georgia. And I say I'm gonna be there. I pray that I will be living, and I know God is gonna spare my life to see that event. And
Yes.
Joanne, I'm so excited about the vision and your husband and you. I want to thank God for you. I pray that God give you the strength, the grace, because it take a man and a woman to we talk about compatibility. Compatibility doesn't come. You guys come from different background, like you said.
Oh, yes.
Living, but we're talking about lifestyle. That's a different stuff. So coming together to understand, to agree, to say, oh, I think it was a good thing that we came together. We can do this together because you have the mind and I have the mind. So I think your relationship is divine. That's one of the things I can say. So it came. Let me ask the last question. How can your vision or your viewer listening all the support of this lady? How can we talk to them
Yeah.
to support?
There's so many ways to support. I think before I answer that question, one of the things about the event that I think is very powerful to say is the theme. Every year we have a theme, and we don't just come up with a theme that's just random. We really give it a lot of thought. And this year's theme is Dare to Do and Achieve the Impossible. Dare to do and achieve the impossible. Because we know that with man, it is impossible. With God, all things are possible. And so I want to encourage you to be a part of the miracles, the impossible, possible things that God is doing and is about to do that we're expecting. In terms of ways to support, there are so many ways to support. One way is through prayers. Many of us are 1 degree away, a separation away from our breakthrough, just one. Sometimes they say there's 6 degrees, 5 degrees, but most of us are just 1 step away, 1 person away. There's someone that Reverend Bestman, that we need to link up with. And there may be someone that I know that you need to link up with. But we won't know unless we share the message. And God hears. So he's our first, the first person that we ask for anything we want, a desire on this earth, because he's the one that promised to give us the desires of our heart. And so we ask for sincere prayers for this work to not only continue, but for it to abound and reverberate and touch countless lives, even more than what we've done. So prayers for me go a long way, very, very long way. I don't take prayers lightly because I know I've seen through personal experience what God can do. Then there's finances. There are people who are part of the Team Letty. It's how we call them, Friends of Letty, who are part of our team. And I'll give you all a funny story. There's someone who I thought it was a joke. Years ago, they donated something like $5.23 a month to Letty. And I was like, what is this? $5.23. But that $5 has been consistent over years. And I don't know how much it has amounted to. So something that I thought was like, what is this going to do? I've seen how a drop can turn into a bucket full of water. And so finances doesn't mean that you have to write a $1 million check.
No.
You could write a one-time, you can make a one-time donation, you can make a monthly donation, but we truly need the support. So that's something that we ask, and it is a tax-deductible donation, so you can file it on your taxes as a charitable donation. And this is something that will contribute to people throughout Liberia, because, for example, our scholarship fund is for students throughout Liberia. The library is primarily in Bunk County. We have so many different initiatives that we do, and they touch many, many different types of people. In fact, we're bringing a team to Liberia from Georgia. They will include, we're partnering with a ministry there to bring for a missions trip this December. They're going to work on the library and also do some other amazing work. Wow. So we know that there's a lot that we can do through partnerships. And I think the last thing I would say is share Letty with someone who
Yeah.
who is an influencer who might be
Yeah.
interested in this type of work.
Sure.
Economic development. I do want to be specific that we're a multifaceted organization. We do microfinance and business development for small businesses and help alleviate the suffering of people. We have education initiative that also focuses on scholarships, reading, literacy, things like that. And we've even done things over the years like it's not consistent right now, but in the past we've subsidized teachers stipend because
Okay.
sometimes the teachers won't come to teach at a school
Yeah.
because they're not getting paid.
Yeah.
And Letty has done that. We've even done that for medical workers,
Okay.
especially during pandemic times when they're not getting paid. So we have a healthcare initiative. We've given many birthing kids. We've provided resources to hospitals, both in-kind donations as well as money, youth development, and sisterly institutions, which we connect with institutions in Europe, in Asia, in the United States, with Liberia. Those are all of our initiatives. And so if you could share Letty
Yeah.
with someone here, this is their link on
It's-
Facebook, this is their link on Instagram, this is their link on LinkedIn. You never know who knows, and it could be that breakthrough that we need,
Yeah.
especially people in the financial industry or in the construction industry who are passionate about education and books, librarians. These are people that we also want to partner with, and for them to help us to with the subject matter expertise, because
Yeah.
sometimes when God gives you the vision, he doesn't always tell you how to do everything.
Yeah.
So you
That's
have to
right.
link with people
That's
who
right.
can help complete the puzzle.
Yeah.
And so we have the vision. We don't have all the skills.
No,
We'll
I know.
admit that. But
We are.
we know that in the community they exist. So we ask you to partner with us. And lastly, volunteer.
Yeah.
There are people who volunteer all around the world, just like how we're talking. We have volunteer meetings for different initiatives, different task forces that we break out into. The only thing we have is come with the mind to work. That's the only thing
Yes.
we ask for, because some people say, you guys should do this, you guys should do that. Well, we
Yeah.
know we should, but we need help.
I know.
So when you
Wow.
come, it's not just about pointing out what's not done, but it's actually, I can do this. I can help fill this gap.
Yeah.
I can serve in this capacity. This is easy for me. I can do this quickly for you all. That's what we need. People who
Yes.
can roll up
You-
their sleeves
you-
and have the mind to work.
Wow. Oh, I want to thank you. And you said something. I don't want to talk it here, but I have consultation with people in private meetings concerning project that I have access. I'm talking about research, and I have one of them just sending me information that I received the information. So I'm going to share some of them, in subsequent time with you, especially when it comes to the empowerment. You're already in it, so it's gonna be a plus. You're gonna definitely get those projects. Okay, I have access to a lot of them that comes, because I do those research. I'm part of a certain group that they send me every time they send me those projects. So I'm gonna look at it once the process is coming up, even if it can be global, Liberia. Once I know it's empowerment, other thing. And that's what the whole thing is about, Life Empowerment Network. And then the community engagement is all about, how we can partner together. I may not have the money, I may not have the influence, but I may have the technical know-how, like you said, that is going to just give you a little hint. Hey, look, I saw some kind of thing. I'm sending it to you. Look at it quick. And those are the things that we talk about collaborating together. Okay, so I want to thank God again for this kind of connection, and I think coming onto the show also is my pleasure. I want to say thank you, and those of us who are listening, we're going to be putting up the information. I just want to go back to you for your closing parting statement. I just want to hear from you as we close. What is your parting statement? What can you say to the people? Because I'm going to be sending it out there, and beside that, I'm going to start. By the time you gave me the stuff, tomorrow I'm going to start promoting it, like I'm promoting the guy coming up on the 25th, eliminating drugs in Liberia. This guy called Blai. He's coming up on the 25th with the 1 million signature. He also going to be on the show. So just give me your parting statement.
Yeah, I want to thank you so much once again, Reverend Bestman, for inviting me. and all the friends of Letty, because I don't just represent myself, I represent this organization. So thank you so much for your warm welcome. To the audience, I want to thank you so much for giving me this platform and opportunity to share about an organization I'm very passionate about. Liberia Economic Development, again, was founded in 2007. Our mission is to reduce poverty and change lives, one child at a time, one book at a time, one library at a time. And we know that with your help, we can do all things through Christ who strengthens us. We can do so much. And so thank you for praying for us. Thank you for supporting us financially. Thank you for spreading the word. And thank you for sharing any resources that you know that can help us to get to the finish line of not only completing our flagship project, this Modern Public Library and Technology Center, but making sure it's sustainable for generations to come. It's not just the books. It's not just the bricks. It's the transformational change, is the impact. And so we want to thank you in advance for your support.
Wow. Thank you too for the great work you are doing. And those of us who are out there, I want to thank you. Those of us who will be listening wherever, on YouTube, on Facebook, on LinkedIn, whatever this video is going to go, I want to say you are welcome to be a support to buttress the effort of the leadership of Linda and the co-chair and her husband. Buttress the effort, because my own word to all of us is, I tell people that I said we have something called the fivefold ministry in ministry, and the reason why the fivefold ministry were given to the church is to equip the saints. You cannot do away with one of them, because if there is no prophecy, probably there's a problem. If there's no confirmation, or there's no evangelist there, if there's no teacher, you're going to have a problem, because people need the teacher to really teach, to understand. So like we're saying, like you said, you need experts, you need different people who you don't know all, and you have some different areas, volunteers, like the community engagement. We're getting involved in training volunteers here, and then we're going to be training volunteers in Liberia. And I think those are some of the things that we believe in, and then those volunteers will be there anytime people want to, they're going to have, in helping people in different communities. So we want to thank you again. I want to thank God.
And really quickly before you go, I just wanted to say our website. I'm sorry I forgot to say it. It's www.lettynow.org. www.lettynow.org. LEDINOW.org.
Thank you. And again, we see you again. God bless you, and have a good night. And dream many dreams. Do all that God have called you to do before you leave this earth. God is going to bless you. Thank you for listening, and you are blessed.
Thank you so much.